Hi, I'm Bill Attardi, and welcome to Learners Live again. This is the April issue of e-learning showcase, where we post the videos for the learning sessions that we post on Learners Live. So far this year, we posted in January effective sales presentation skills, and there's actually 3 sessions. In February, we did selling in the executive suite. And in March, sponsored by Satco, we did SWOT analysis and generative artificial intelligence. Now for April, we're going to do customer-centric marketing in the digital age. Customer-centric marketing in the digital age. But before we do that, we have a commercial. This particular session is sponsored by my good friends over at Amerlux.
Time to go to work. Hey, buddy, you're looking a little dim.
I think my age is catching up with me. I'm not as bright as I used to be.
It happens to all of us. In fact, it happened to me.
You too?
Absolutely, but I got help. People rely on me every day, so I couldn't let it affect my performance. I was retrofitted with a whole new light engine, and I feel fantastic. And the whole process took less than 15 minutes.
Did it work?
Let me tell you, it gave me a new lease on light. I shine farther, brighter, crisper.
You think it would work for me?
Sure. Of course, I've always had my tall, dapper good looks, but now I help people see themselves in the best light. There's better coverage without shadows or glare, so everyone feels safe around me. Have a good night, you two.
Enhance the beauty of your environment with the Vista, an advanced LED light engine that can retrofit your existing fixtures or complement new ones. Be seen in the best light.
My first question on customer-centric. What is the real driver of your business? Think about that for a minute. Sure, customer-centric is important, but almost every company, in fact, every company has to be customer-centric in today's world. But what really is unique about you? What drives your business? What makes you different than everybody else in the marketplace? Let me give you a couple of examples of what I mean. 2 companies, Bose and Beats. I think you're familiar with both of those companies. They sell headphones and earplugs and speakers and radios but when you think of what drives their business, Amos Bose, who started the company years ago, his whole interest was sound-centric. He wanted to improve the sound of the devices, the equipment that he developed. Beats, Dr. Dre started that company, and he's all about the pop culture. He was cool. That's probably the reason Apple bought Beats, is because they were not cool and they needed a company that expressed that. And they spent $3 billion buying Beats. And that's a culture-centric company. Talking about Apple, Apple is a high-tech company. You've known Apple for many years. And they started with the Macintosh, and now they're into laptops and cell phones and iWatches and on and on. One of the highest tech companies we have. In fact, their marketing cap is over $3 trillion, the largest in the world. Amazon, I call it a convenience-centric company. That's a company that has over 400 million listed items. Very convenient for consumers to buy on Amazon. If you order in the morning, you can maybe get it in the afternoon. Unbelievable convenience. Walmart, low price centric. Why is that low price centric? Ask any customer that buys in Walmart and they'll just all say the same thing. It's got the best prices. Barbie, brand loyalty centric. Barbie's a toy. Think about the toy industry. The toy industry is probably the most fickle industry there is. You buy a Christmas present one year and the next year they don't sell any of it, okay? But this is a product that's 60 years old. 60 years old. There's a lot of brand loyalty with this product. It's the mother that has had a great experience with that product when she was growing up, and now she wants to share that with her child. Red Bull, energy drink centric, energy drink centric. Think about Red Bull. It created an entire energy category for drinks. Didn't exist before Red Bull. McDonald's. You think McDonald's sells hamburgers. Well, maybe the franchisees sell hamburgers, but McDonald's is franchise centric. They have over 45,000 locations throughout the world, and next year they're going to go to 50,000. That's what I mean when I say a company is centric. And I'm asking you this question. What's your centric? What makes you better than everybody else? It's the baseball season, right? And somebody stop the Dodgers, will you please? Anyway, I just posted yesterday on LearnersLive the salaries of the top 10 players in baseball. And do you know what the average salary now is for a baseball player? It's $5 million. $5 million is the average salary for a ball player. Unbelievable. I'm glad Yogi Berra isn't around to see. He only made about 60,000 in his entire life. Anyway, 3 umpires were talking shop, and I wanted to get inside their heads. And one umpire said, well, he was watching this play at home plate. He said, I call them like I see them. The second umpire said, I call them like they are. And the third umpire said, they ain't nothing till I make the call. Well, in our business and in this business, it's not always the final call. They have to go sometimes to a play in New York City where the umpires are looking at slow motion, and they decide what the call is, not the man on the field. Why is that? The reason they do that is they want to get it right. They want to get the call right because baseball is fan-centric. They want to make sure the fan is comfortable with every call made on the field. And that's a very important technological advancement in the baseball business. In our business, it's the customer that makes the call. He or she makes the final call on everything they buy. As this lady says, she's profit and he's overhead. The only place where money comes into a company is when she pays the bill. Everything else is overhead. Marketing is responsible for satisfying that customer. So let me ask you this question. What is the definition of marketing? I asked my students on the first class what the definition of marketing is, and typically they come up with pieces and parts of it. But I recite, because I memorized the definition of marketing, the best one that I came upon. And that is that marketing is all business activities that directs the flow of goods, services, and ideas from the manufacturer to the customer in order to accomplish 2 specific objectives: to satisfy the needs of the customer and to make a profit for the corporation. How about that? That's my first impression with my class. I do that verbatim, but let's take it one at a time. All business activities that directs the flow of goods, services, and ideas. It's not just product. It's goods, it's services. If you're in the consulting business or the advertising business, you're selling ideas from the manufacturer to the customer to satisfy 2 very specific objectives: satisfy the needs of the customer and make a profit for the company. Satisfying the needs of the customer is always first. And here's a fella, I think you remember, Sam Walton. They called him Mr. Sam. And I had a chance to play some tennis with Mr. Sam years back and meet with him and talk about business. He's probably the most customer-centric individual that ever lived. Most of his time he spent visiting the stores, talking to customers. And this is what he said: there is only one boss, the customer. And they can fire everybody in the company from the chairman on down simply by spending their money somewhere else. That's what customer centric is all about, from the man that almost invented the word. Customer centric in the digital age is taking on a whole different focus. Great marketeers make things better by making change happen, making change happening. And you know that we live in a changing world, a changing marketing landscape. With big data and artificial intelligence, there's no excuse for you not knowing and having a deep understanding of your customer. It's the digital age. Everybody has a cell phone, online, social media interaction. Real-time marketing and engagement is what's happening in today's environment. Prioritize retention and over-acquisition. Let me explain that. I think that's an important point in this changing environment. Prioritize and serve and satisfy your existing customers first. Those are the most important customer that you have. Those are the ones sending you the checks every time they make a purchase. Not to say that you shouldn't spend time on new business, but that's a whole different selling skill set. My recommendation is you hire different people to do the new business acquisitions. Satisfying your customer is first. It's a lot easier to satisfy your existing customer than to get that first order from a new customer. Interconnected world. I think if those of you that are trading on a global basis, you know that there's rapid globalization, and interconnecting with your departments and your divisions outside this country is a very important part of your business. Customer-centric marketing and a sustainable competitive advantage. How many sustainable competitive advantages do you have as a business? Those are advantages that cannot be easily duplicated at all, or maybe not at all, by your competitor. And here's one thing that I think has changed completely when it comes to the marketing mix. In the digital age, we all heard of the 4 Ps: product, place, promotion, and price. Learn that right from day one. Okay, well, it doesn't exist anymore in the digital age. Product now is whatever you solve the consumer's pain point. Consumer wants is not just the product. It could be anything. It could be a service. It could be an idea. It's whatever the customer wants. The place certainly has changed. It's no longer a physical store that you can visit, right? It's still there, but almost 50% of purchase now are being bought online. So it's convenience to buy. That's the C that replaces the place. Promotion, it's communications. There are more ways to communicate with your customer than ever before. It's not just the promotion. And price is the cost to satisfy. So those are the 4 C's now that we teach at the marketing classes in the digital age. It's still customer centric. All of that is still focused on the customer. Here's just a snapshot for you to remember that this is what we're talking about. Let me go to this particular slide to talk about what I mean by bows and beats. We talked about that earlier. Bows and beats, basically, what do they sell? Think about that for a minute. What do bows and beats sell? This is what they sell. They sell speakers. They sell earplugs. They sell headphones. They sell radios. That's what they sell. But what do customers really buy? Okay? What do customers really buy? Think about that. This is what they buy. Quality sound. Quality sound. They buy the music that those devices provide. They buy the result. They buy the result, the customer-centric benefit. That's what they buy. And if you're in a service business, When you go to the doctor, that's a service you're buying, right? And what do doctors sell? They sell blood work, they sell pills, they sell if you need an MRI. And that one picture in the right-hand corner is a butterfly IQ. That's a wand that the doctor connects to its cell phone, and they can see inside your body. It's like an echo machine. Amazing technology. That's what doctors sell. But what do they buy? They buy your health. Everybody wants to live forever, right? So that's an important part of what that's all about. They buy the result. The customer-centric benefit is your health. And I know many of you subscribe to LearnersLive are in the lighting business because that's where I've spent the last 60 years. And think about what you sell. You sell fixtures and bulbs and dimmers and controls and what. But customers buy light. They buy the result. And that's the customer-centric benefit. And this is what Warren Buffett has said about all of that. Price is what you pay, but value is what you get. Price is what you pay, but value is what you get. And that's the value exchange, the customer-centric value exchange. And it's always focused on the customer. Marketing, the focus of all marketing activities is still the customer. And the value exchange is to facilitate that exchange by transferring, whether it's goods, services, or ideas, to the customer, and that's when they make that payment. You, as a marketing company, have to deliver value, the value-added proposition. I teach a course and I talk about salespeople presenting FFAB, features, functions, advantages, and benefits. That's what salespeople have to present to their customer to promote the brand loyalty so that repeat business is possible. Satisfying customer needs and making a profit. That's what marketing is. Before I close, are there any questions? As I indicated with all these videotapes, unfortunately, it's not a virtual training session where it's live. We record it and we post it on LearnersLive so that you can see it anytime you want. But if you have any questions whatsoever for any of this, or any questions about anything that we try to post on LearnersLive, just send me an email and I'll be glad to interact and communicate with you. One of the things that I've learned, and I tell my class, every time you give a presentation, put it together the way you want to present it. Create the slides, create the information, original thought, put it down as best you can. And then when you're finished, feed it all into AI. Because AI can make it better. Ask AI to review what you put together and ask them to make it better. And that's what I did with this presentation. I fed it into AI and I said, we talked about customer-centric marketing. What's that all about? And how can I communicate that more effectively to my audience? And this is what they said. AI said that improve your customer understanding. Understand your customers, solve their pain points. Personalization, it's an individual customer preference. It's not just a general customer-centric, it's a preference. Seamless customer experience, consistent interaction with your customer base, proactive engagement, continue to support and anticipate what your customers' needs are, feedback and adaptation. That's where Sam Walton earned his keep, by continuously connecting and talking to his customer base. Empathy and customer care, concern for your customers' issues, value-driven content. I use value-added proposition, features, functions, advantages, and benefits. Customer loyalty and retention. You want long-term customer relationships. Data-driven. They've given a plug to artificial intelligence. They're saying Artificial intelligence can make informed decisions. They can make everything you do better. And just as we see with this presentation, multiple channel presence, engaging and interactive communications. So artificial intelligence, it gives you a good sense as to, and good summary of exactly what I tried to do with this presentation. Marketing is a tough job, and sometimes it's pretty crazy, right? Problem solving and decision making. But the cornerstone for all marketing activities is customer-centric marketing. And that's not just the marketing people's responsibility, that's everybody in the company's responsibility. And so I ask that question again. What's your centric? What's driving your business? What's making you different than everybody else in the marketplace? Why are your customers buying from you? That's an important question that you need to answer. Lastly, I like to do a quote from the president of High Point University, Nido Quivine. Nido is the president, and he gives a course to everyone that goes to his university. That's my granddaughter, Tess. And if those of you who know David, that's his daughter, and she's a freshman at High Point University. It didn't take Tess long to get a picture of the president of the company with her, right? Anyway, this is what he teaches his students. He says the world is changing rapidly. For the timid, change is frightening. For the comfortable, change is threatening. For the confident, change is opportunity. Confidence is directly related to competency. He tells his students that that's why they're at High Point. That's why they're in college, to develop their competency. And if they do, then they can take advantage of the change and the opportunity that the marketplace is offering. Next month, next month is May. Next month, May, we're going to do innovation in the digital age. That's Clayton Christensen's theory about innovation, and he breaks it down into 3 distinct areas: disruptive, sustaining, and efficiency. And we're going to cover that in May in the next session. So I close with Amerlux again. Don't forget, Amerlux.com, the Avista product line, terrific product line. I want to thank Bill Plagerman and Jeff Zarro for allowing me to play this particular video that they have. God bless. Godspeed, and see you next month.
All right, Bill. I thought it went great.
Did it go well?
I thought it went great.
Good.
Thought it went great.
You hear the phone ring at the time?
No, I didn't.
All right, I shut it off. It was barking here, and I shut it
Okay.
off. And
I did see you turn to the side for maybe 10 seconds or so and deal with something. So it must have been that. And
yeah,
I'll just find that in the
I think
video.
you can edit that out. Okay.
That's right. That's right. Find that and edit that out. You might have already sent it to me, but if not, will you send me the link to the Amerlux video?
You want this whole thing again?
Well, I guess if you have the link to the video in that PowerPoint, then I've got it. But just so I can find that. Okay.
It's right there. You
Okay.
see it?
Yep. Okay.
And
Okay.
it's the top link.
Got it.
It's the link.
Got
If you
it.
don't have it, just let me know. We're in
Okay.
no rush. I'm not going to post this. I like to post every one of these in the mid-April.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
we got a couple of weeks. You can edit it, send it to me. As soon as you send it to me, then I'll post it myself in mid-April.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll get on it. I'll try not to let it go too long because it's one of those.
Okay, and I'm working on the next one for May, and
Okay.
I can do it maybe next week or the week after. So
Okay.
if this is a good time for you, Thursdays at 2:00, you let me know. But I'll do it anytime it's convenient for you.
It should be fine. I just know that starting around the middle of April, things are going to be crazy for us. Prepping for light
Maybe
fair.
next Thursday would be good then.
Next Thursday would be just fine with me. So why don't we plan on that? I'll put it on my calendar and just if
Put it on
something
your calendar.
changes
I'll work on it over the weekend and we can do it again. So that means we'll have April and May
and
done.
May.
And
Perfect.
that gives me a little breathing room. Okay,
Perfect.
great.
Why don't we plan on the original time next Thursday? So it would be 2 p.m. your time.
Okay, I will put that on my calendar.
And I appreciate you accommodating my time changes today. My
How long was
mom
this one?
wanted to grab lunch and was
How long
trying
was
to
this one?
This one was shorter. You know, I'm showing we've got, I guess I can